Stop chasing and start attracting. Easier said than done, but this is what you need to be doing if your husband or partner has walked away and you're trying to get him back. You see, when people are going through a difficult time like a separation or a breakup of some sort, they're naturally going to be in survival mode. And when something is being taken away from us, immediately our instinct is to want to try and grab that thing. So we beg, we plead, we do everything we can to try and pull that person back into our lives. Problem is though, is that it's counterproductive. And the very thing that we instinctively feel like we need to do is the very thing that we need to avoid at all costs, because it only makes matters worse and causes even more problems. So I'm going to talk you through 4 strategies that you need to use right now in order to start attracting and stop chasing him in order to maximize your chance of getting him back. The first step you need to take is to step into your own power. You see, when someone has decided that they want to walk away from the marriage or a relationship, immediately they then regain power of the situation, regain control of the situation because they want it the least. A relationship is always dictated by the person who wants the relationship the least. And the reason is because when someone is being taken away from us, we don't like, as human beings, things being taken away from us. So that when that thing is taken away from us, we then breach a whole bunch of our values and our morals and our ethics and our integrity and so on to get that thing back, which disempowers us. You need to step more into a place of empowerment. You need to recognize that you can heal. You need to recognize that it's okay to speak your truth. You need to know that whatever this outcome is, you absolutely can transform, can grow, can become the best version of yourself, and that you actually can decide how the story ends. So many times people give up their power and they're, as I mentioned before, begging and pleading and doing everything that they can to try and get this person back because they feel like if that person doesn't exist in their life anymore, that they can't survive. That they won't be able to survive financially, that they won't be able to survive emotionally, that they can't be on their own, that they're not going to be able to provide for their family and so on. And I get it. I understand how challenging this is. I speak to women every single day who are going through these challenges, so I truly understand how difficult that is. But one of the key steps to be able to try and get that person back is to actually reclaim your power. Get to a place where you know that you're going to be okay. Get to that place where it's okay to speak your truth, to be able to share what it is that you want to share, and so on, without fear of what the consequences are if you are going to say those things. And once you do that, then that naturally makes you more magnetic in that situation. Does that guarantee that that person's going to come back? No, because there's many complexities to the situation. But if you want to maximize your chances of being able to get them back, don't be afraid to step into your own power and know that healing is absolutely within your own grasp. It's not something that's only for the select few or anything like that. You absolutely have that ability and you need to know that. The second step is to apply detachment and truly let go. See, once again, when that person is taken away from us, we then become attached to that individual even more. And we want to do everything we can to hold on to it. The problem with attachment, though, is that it means that you don't have any faith. When we don't have any faith, we're coming from fear. When we're coming from fear, we don't know how things are going to unfold. And so what ends up happening is that whatever it is that we want, we actually are repelling, we're pushing it away energetically. This is more from a spiritual perspective. You see, in anything in life, in order to attract it, in order to draw it into our lives, we have to give up our attachment to that thing. And this goes against a lot of what people talk about, which is like when you're growing up, you've got to want it really badly. You've got to be hungry for success. You've got to achieve. You've got to really work hard and so on. But to me, whenever I applied that approach and I worked my backside off, but I was desperate for an outcome, it never worked out. It never worked out. But when I worked hard and I did the things that I needed to do, but I did it from a place of love, that I enjoyed doing what I was doing, and then I put the outcome into the universe, to God's hands, and just trusted that whatever's supposed to happen will happen, at the right time and divine timing, then either I got the thing that I wanted or something else happened that surpassed anything that I could have even imagined. And the same goes with people's relationships. You know, every person I've ever worked with who's actually been able to save their marriage all got to a place where they said, if this marriage works out, great. If it doesn't, I know that I'm going to be okay. And this ties into the first point about stepping into your own power as well. You have to know that you're going to be okay. You have to know that that strength, that resolve that you might be looking for, that might seem elusive at this moment in time, is absolutely well within your grasp. You just have to take the right steps, and you have to put the right effort and energy into it in order to be able to shift. And when you do that, you will be supported on this path. And whether that's the right resources, whether that's the right sort of coach or therapist or whoever it is, the right books, something will come along in the right way that's going to serve you for your highest good. But you have to know that it's absolutely possible, and a big part of that is getting to a place of detachment and letting go of the outcome. And that doesn't mean you don't care about it. It doesn't mean you just go, yeah, look, whatever, I don't really care, and get into a place of resignation. It's, yes, I want to save my marriage. Yes, I put that intention out there. But I also am okay if it doesn't work out. I know that it's going to be okay. And I know that the right outcome will occur for the highest good of all concerned. And when you truly get to a place of acceptance and peace of that, I promise you, magical things will happen at that point. Thirdly, healing the inner suppressed emotions. See, one of the biggest challenges that we face when we're trying to experience detachment and stepping into our power and letting go and surrendering and so on, is that at a conscious level we want that. But at a subconscious level, there are often things that are sabotaging our success and sabotaging our ability to move forward and get to that place of clarity. I often found in my life that whenever I wanted to get to that place of detachment, I would understand it intellectually, but I couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel that sensation inside of my body. I couldn't feel that emotion that just went, yeah, I get it, and I just know it. There would always be this little part of me that goes, no, but you need to have that thing. You desperately need to have that thing. That's the only way you're going to be happy, and so on. I just had those parts of me. And that was because I was holding on to some deeper suppressed emotions that hadn't been properly released. And we need to release those. You need to identify as a starting point, what are those deeper emotional scars? Do you feel like you're inadequate? Are there wounds of betrayal, maybe from past relationships where you maybe have been cheated on, or maybe even the current one that you're in? Do you feel like you're not worthy of love, and so on? What are those suppressed emotions that often are lingering beneath the surface? And you might think to yourself, well, but I'm actually thinking about those things, so it's not really suppressed. The problem is that when we actually have a lot of those thoughts and we keep thinking about it and we talk to our friends about it and we go to our therapist and all we're doing is talking about it, but we're not really working on the actual underlying energy and emotion, it gets suppressed, it gets shoved down. And then we can go even a step further, that those emotions get suppressed so much that it almost leads to a state of repression. So then you not only aren't even aware of those thoughts and those feelings and those emotions at the deeper level, but you begin to manifest lots of negative experiences because they reflect the deeper energies on the inside that are drawing in those experiences into your life. So in other words, if we're holding on to these deep wounds and we're not even aware of them, energetically we will manifest circumstances that align with that frequency, with that energy that we're holding on to at the deepest level. So you need to actually release those and get to a place of calm and equanimity and peace and so on the inside. Then you will start to draw those things, and it will be easier for you to get to a place of acceptance and get to a place of detachment and stepping into your power. Now, how do we do this? Well, then the first thing that we need to make sure that we do is actually become aware of what those emotions and those deepest suppressed emotions are. And as I said before, do things like inadequacy and not feeling good enough and being unworthy of love and resentment and betrayal and so on, do they play a big part in your life? Or are those things that resonate with you when I mention these things? And if they do, it's probably a good indication that those are some suppressed emotions. And then from there, you need to actually allow yourself to bring those to the surface. In other words, confront them, face up to them, recognize that these are parts of you, shadow parts of you that have laid dormant or even active in your life over a period of time. And then once you've done that, you've got to allow yourself to identify where exactly in your body are you feeling these emotions, and go through a process of really releasing those. And one of the techniques that I'm really a huge believer in is the emotional clearing technique, and something that I use regularly with my clients and have used on myself more times than I can even count, and has been hugely transformative in terms of my own healing process. So if you are wanting to learn a little bit more about that and you wanting to go deep into that transformation, then don't hesitate to book a call with me below in the description section where it says book a call with me, and we'll be able to have a chat just to learn how I can potentially help you on this path. But you've got to have the intention first to want to heal those things, because if you don't want to heal them, then they won't heal, and you'll continue to be spinning your wheels over and over and over, which is not an enjoyable place to be at. And then finally, welcome the struggle. Now this might sound really strange, but you have to welcome the challenges that are coming into your life. I know they're painful as anything, I totally get it. But if we resist what is happening, it only intensifies the pain. When we welcome the pain, we can get more to a place of peace and acceptance of what is. When we get to a place of acceptance and peace, then we not only have more clarity in our head, but then what happens is, because we are holding a different vibration energetically, that's when good things start to occur, as well as your partner or husband really starting to pick up and notice that there are some shifts going on here, and that'll force him to question what's going on. You've got to get to that place. And the reason I use this term, welcome the struggle, is that in Buddhism, and this is not a religious lesson by any means, but it really illustrates the point I'm trying to make, is that centuries ago, when the Buddha was sitting under the Bodhi tree trying to get into a place of enlightenment, the god Mara arrived and started to tempt him with tantric women and began to fire arrows at him. And the god Mara represented the shadow side of him, the darker sides of him, like we all do. You know, we all have parts of ourselves that are loving and caring, and there are other times where we have some pretty dark thoughts. And that's what the god Mara represented. And when those arrows were being fired at him, rather than resisting them and going, oh, get away from me, or run away, or try and fight them off, he welcomed them. And then as the story goes, the arrows converted into petals and landed at his feet. And that was part of the process for him to get into enlightenment. And this is just a story that just explains the importance of welcoming it. Welcoming those negative thoughts, welcoming the pain on some level. Because when you welcome it and you stop resisting it, the pain no longer has that level of impact on you. And it can allow you to find a greater sense of peace. It really can. And that's something that I do regularly as well in my life, and I know clients have done as well, is just welcoming some of that pain and just saying yes to it. Not, yes, I want more of it. It's just, yes, I welcome and I accept this pain as it is, and I choose not to resist it. I just allow it to just be. And when we get to a place of allowing it to just be, you'll be surprised at how quickly it can actually shift. And when it shifts, then you have clarity, then you can start to make better decisions for your future. Now, I know getting to this place right now, when you are in the fire, in the storm, can be such a difficult thing, and you might even listen to some of the things I'm saying and get a little bit triggered by some of those things, but I want you to know that healing is absolutely within your grasp, and it's something that you definitely can do, and I've seen it time and time again with clients, and I want the same for you as well. And so if you are in a place where you're struggling and you're not sure how to move forward, then what I'd suggest you do is in the description section below, there's a link to register for my free webinar. And that webinar is just there to be able to provide you some information around the 3 steps my client Sarah used to be able to save her marriage in less than 60 days. It's an amazing story. She was able to create some remarkable shifts. So make sure you click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and then just come along with an open mind and a notepad and take lots of notes and just really take in a lot of the information, because I know it's going to really help you on your journey right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit that like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And do let me know if you've got any questions or comments or takeaways. I always love reading the comments. So make sure you write them below and I'll respond to every single one of you. And if you want to learn the 4 secret ways to get him to love you again, click this video below. Thank you so much. God bless, and I'll talk to you in the next video.